Okay, now it's time to set up the interior of the camper. At this point you have it all set up. You may or may not have the water and electricity hooked up yet at this point, but right now you're gonna set everything up. As you recall, when we put these bars up right here, there was this mesh bag that was against the back there. They're storage. You can put some clothes up here if you want, or not use it all if you just want to leave it down. It's a little tricky. It's just Velcro, and they go through these hooks right up here. You need to use a fork or a knife or something to get under here and get it on here, but that's how it goes. There's one for each end. They just go to those hooks. As you can see on the other side, that one is up as well. So that you can get that out of your way. The other thing to keep in mind with a camper, it is not a house. It's not built like a house. Things are a little more fragile, so you want to be careful with how you treat things. For instance, this is just a board leaning up here with hinges. It's not meant to carry weight. It is meant to rest against here and for you to sit. If you're going to be pushing hard on it or whatever, chances are you'll break it. Same goes for these curtains. They just slide along this track. It's just plastic hooks. They're not metal, and the track itself is plastic. But they pull along. I have the other one tied up here, but they just pull along and give you privacy on the end. Pretty simple. We already showed you in the setup video in the takedown, how to set up the table, so that you would do the same thing to put it down as a bed. Fold up the table, move the cushions, and set it down. One thing you need to be aware of is the heat control. That's the thermostat right there. All the way over is off. You can hear it or feel it click, but set it to the temperature you want. There's nothing else you need to do to get the furnace to work other than set your temperature. So if you kick that, you're gonna not have a furnace. But in summertime, yeah, you may not need it. That box over there is your fuses. You just open it up, and you can get at if you trip a breaker or whatever. It's just, you open it up. It's just like your breaker at home when you're plugged into 110 volt. This here, carbon monoxide. It's not green right now because I don't have the electricity on at this point, but that'll be green when it's all plugged in. Underneath the gaucho, there's some cabinets down here. There's a dustpan and broom in there. You can store some stuff in there as well. Under this cushion, again, I had in the setup video, if you lift this up, there's your microwave. Right now I have this bucket. I'm going to move this bucket out of here, but the toaster and coffee pot is also going to be in here, and I'll explain that bucket a little in a few minutes. So you can take that out, and this is a nice table to put that, and then of course your coffee pot and toaster can go here. There is an outlet, 110 volt outlet right under here, and another one right there for the microwave. In here, we showed it earlier, that's all your cooking utensils, also these lights and fans, and you'll see a cord here. I have it plugged in right now, but normally these won't be plugged in. But this is the control for the heated bed, and it just plugs in right here. Obviously in the summertime you won't need that. Those controls, these lights, they'll be in this cabinet. This light attaches to this bar, and this end goes in right there. So this has a light as well as a fan. There's a fan and a light, and it lights up the whole bed. At night it really lights it up really nice. And there's one for each end, so there's two. Same thing over here. You attach it to this bar, plug it in right here. That's all 12 volt. You don't need to be plugged into electricity for these lights to work. I'm not plugged into electricity right now, and they work. This is your fan. Obviously, it's a power fan. It really, you crank it to open it, and then you set your fan speed. You can see all of these have zippers, openings there. This is a screen, so you can open this. That's a screen, you can open that. That's a screen, you can open that. Obviously at night you probably want it covered, right? The sides. So these curtains go up, and you use these you just slide this up. Slide it up and push this up, and then again, it's a clear window with a screen, and this is also zippered in. You can open this up. This whole camper can be opened up as and look like one big screen tent if you wanted to, and it's amazing, really. I mean, it's the airflow through here. I mean, if it is warm, you can get some serious airflow, especially if you turn this fan on. You can really get some airflow and be very comfortable in here, even on a hot sunny day. This will go down here. This cabinet here is right underneath the stove, so you don't want to be touching that. That could be warm. This is the fridge. It's 12 volt, 110 volt, or propane. When you leave, we'll have it on propane. It does not take a lot of propane. You could take this out for a week or more and still not run out of propane. In fact, I've had this running, almost 2 weeks now, just to make sure it works. It works great. There is a water heater. You turn this on, the light comes on. When the light is off, the water heater is lit. So only turn it on when you're hooked up to water, or if you fill the tank up with water. There is a tank on here. And this is the 12 volt pump. You'd only use the 12 volt pump if you're not hooked up to 110 volt, or water. Okay, another thing, this door goes out to the outer compartment. That's where we had the braces for the outside. They go in there. The stove, it just hooks on one side. This one side is broken, so it just has this one side. Comes up, set the sides here on these little angles here. This is not self-igniting stove. You turn it on, you can hear the gas, and then you just light it with a match or a fire stick, which that is also in here. There's matches and one of those fire starter sticks. It can get hot in here with this running. Obviously, it's a stove. I highly recommend you open that vent. Just keep the heat down, keep the gas fumes out, food scent out, whatever. And that just hooks. Kind of hard to do one-handed. Sink works like a normal kitchen sink. One other thing. To go back underneath the table here, see if I can get at it. That outlet right there controls all the other 110 volt outlets. It's a GFI. It's hard to see because it's all brown, but in the center there is a reset button. So if you don't have electricity in these outlets, chances are this outlet down here, it tripped for whatever reason, so hit the reset button. If it's not that, then it's got to be one of the fuses in the fuse box. So always check that, you know, make sure all your breakers are working if you're having issues with the electrical outlets. Okay, now we're going to go outside. I think I've covered everything in here. We'll step out here. I want to take another shot of this. This is the plug-in you need on your vehicle. It's a 7 plug. Out here, this is the water heater, outdoor shower. This is the controls for the fridge are in here. City water hookup. If you're on a campsite, this is where you put the hose in. This is the sink drain. This is where that bucket on the inside comes in. Here's the bucket. Here's a hose. You hook that hose. A lot of threads. But you hook that hose right here. This will be your drain for the sink. There is no holding tank like a big camper would have. So you want to be careful with what you put down the drain. No food down the drain. It's just water. This is hot. This will be hot from if your furnace is running. This is where we fill up the water tank. This is if you're at home or if you need water from here, we'll put water in it. And if you're on the road, it is not a big tank. It's 26 gallons, so I think 26, 24. So you'll go through that pretty quick. This is your electric. You pull this out. I believe it's a 15-foot cord. This is a 30 amp outlet. If you're camping at a regular campground, more than likely this will plug directly into the electrical box. You just want to be close enough that you can put it in. If not, if you don't have that kind of an outlet, then you go into here. I'll show you how these work. These doors are a little tricky. They stick sometimes. But you go in here and you just grab this. This has the plug-in for the end of that cord, and then you can just plug it into a regular outlet. The only reason this is 30 amp outlet is because this is wired for an air conditioner. It does not have an air conditioner, but it will run an air conditioner if one was installed. Right, so then over here in this compartment again, you would have seen a hose. That's your water hose. Grab your water hose. Hook it up to right here. And then you hook it up to your campsite water outlet. The water heater is controlled from the inside. I showed you that button on the inside. Now this is the fridge. Like I say, when you leave, this will be running. It'll be on propane when you leave here. It is perfectly fine to leave it that way. If you need to relight it, you turn this to high and you ignite it. Push this down and hit the ignite button. You'll look in here. Can't see it very well from here, but you'll see the flame in there. If you don't want to run it, you just want to run it on 110 and you're plugged in, you have your electrical plugged in, you just hit on and it'll run off 110 volt. That's the simplest way to do it. But if you're traveling, if you're going to one spot, that works great. But traveling, you might want to just leave it on propane. I would not recommend using 12 volt. It will not run very long. The battery, 12 volt batteries on these campers just does not run very long. It might work for a short period of time, but it's not going to run for an extended period of time unless you're plugged in. If you're plugged into 110, it'll still run 12 volt, and your city electric will charge the battery, will keep the battery charged. But if you're traveling, it's just not gonna, the battery's just not gonna stay charged. Keys, I left the key in that other door, but all these doors lock. I think for the most part that's it. I'll show you, there is a grill. I'll show you the grill too, and that gets hooked up right here and hooks on here, so you can cook outside on a grill, unless you bring your own outside electric outlet and light, outside light. Turn it on that way, light switch. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to set up the grill. The grill is in the front compartment of the trailer underneath this lid. You can get at it from the outside here when the beds are not out, or from the inside door. I showed you that earlier. Just take the whole bag, and up. There's a bracket under here. Good little tangle up. There needs to be a handle on the top. There was a handle on the top. This is good. But it's not like that. So now we take the grill. If it's not on, sometimes it's loose in the bag. This drip grease catcher is sometimes just laying in the bag. Make sure that's on there. Take the grill, this bracket, and go to the front of the trailer. Now we're going to take the bracket, and it fits on this slide right here. Just spin these out. They're spring loaded. Just slide it on here. We kind of tip it out a little bit so when you're installing it, it doesn't scratch the side of the trailer. Set it on like that. Grill is going to slide right under those. There's two, one on each side. Just slide it on. It goes to a stop. And then on both sides, you're going to put your little safety catch so it doesn't fall off on you. Unhook the front latches and grab the hose. There's two ends to the hose. One receiver, and one male and one female, I guess they call them. This is the end that's going to go on the grill, right under here. Snaps right on. Underneath the trailer down here, there's a blue tab. And you slide that in there. I'll bring this around. See if we can't get a better look. Right down there. Now you can see there's a lever on there, and if you're familiar with how levers work, they have to be turned in line with the pipe. So just turn the lever in line with the pipe, and that turns it on. Turns the gas on. So go ahead and do that. At this point, the grill would be ready to light. It does have an igniter on the side, right here. but you know, they don't always work. So I always have this. It does work right now. Open it up, push it down to high, and you can hear it go. And that's on. First time it's lit, it might take a little longer because you need the gas to get here. This is the second time I've lit this just to make this go a little easier for me. And you can see it still is a little cumbersome. But at that point, you're ready to grill. Remember, your grilling utensils are inside the trailer, so you're all set to go. Plain and simple as that. Make sure it's cool when you turn it back, when you put it back. Okay, I just wanted to give a little better view of this pipe here. So this is that lever. So that's on. When it's in line with the pipe, it's on. When it's perpendicular, it's off. And then this just goes in and out. Remember to shut this off before you disconnect the grill. If this is turned on like this, you're going to dump all your propane outside. So make sure it's perpendicular, that's off, and pop it off. And then you can put it away.